Just what does it mean to you to be able to play a game on a night that such an important cause is also being highlighted?
Yeah, I would just say, I'm glad, number one, that our organization wants to designate a night to bring awareness to breast cancer. Obviously, so many people have been directly affected by it. And so I love to be part of an organization that prioritizes efforts like this. And so it'll also be great that we get to recognize Yolanda Miller tonight and her fight with breast cancer as well. So always praying that we can kind of keep moving this initiative forward.
Looking at the game, you mentioned yesterday that Orlando enters with the highest free throw rate in the NBA. What have you seen from them that's allowing them to get to the foul line so much? And does it kind of stand out a little bit more just considering how much their offense has sort of struggled a little bit out of the gates?
It definitely stands out. It's probably like one of the things that we try to pride ourselves in is just trying to finish possessions as best as possible with a contest, without fouling, trying to keep people off the glass. And so they will pose a bit of a challenge in two of those areas in terms of getting fouled. And it's a lot of Wagner, a lot of Banchero. I believe they each average like 11 and 7 respectively from the free throw line a night. And they're doing it in various ways. But one of the biggest parts to their game is just playing with great force downhill. And so you just got to show your hands as you're trying to absorb some of that contact, and also the shift activity around it. You can't be like trying to dive in there late on their spin moves. They do a really good job. So crafty scores, and then we got to keep Carter off the glass too. That's the other thing that's really stood out is how well they hit the offensive glass.
Pardon me if you've been asked this before recently, but what point in the summer preseason did you realize that Sion was going to be a heavy part of your rotation?
Yeah, Sion's done, I think, a great job of developing his game, learning how we want to play on both ends of the court. He stood out to us, obviously, early in pre-draft and going to evaluate him in our front office. And so there's always been something there with Sion. I think that his physicality defensively has been really impressive. But he's earned an opportunity, I think, just getting better and better as time has gone on. And it's been fun to watch. And I think his teammates have kind of helped bring him along as well. And so I don't think there was a certain point. I just think it was really an evolution and an earning of an opportunity throughout all the competitiveness we had during training camp and preseason, and seeing how he can just add to a group because he doesn't need the ball necessarily. He can play beside anybody. He's going to play defense. He's going to offensive rebound. He's going to help connect the whole group. So love that about him, and I think that it's a good asset to our group.
And no team could go through the kind of injury atrophy that you guys went through a year ago, but it seems this roster, you talked about it at the beginning of the season, saying that it's more competitive. It seems like there's more circuit breakers for like what happened to Brandon and things of that nature. You have Knipple, you've got Sion. How much does that maybe elevate, the rest of the team, knowing that, hey, one guy goes down, you can actually say, hey, next man up. It's not necessarily a cliche. It's almost an added bonus.
Yeah, it's a testament to the players that we have. We have great depth, good roster assembled, but also I think to our coaching staff, just making sure from a player development standpoint, we're making sure that everyone's ready for their opportunity. And so having that ability to have great depth has been an asset.
Your team is attempting significantly more corner threes early on this year than compared to early last year. Small sample size, but is that something you were cognizant of? Is that something we can expect to see going forward? And how do you like the team doing that?
Yeah, no, I love that we're just creating some really good open shots, lightly contested or uncontested shots. I think some of the emphasis put on our running habits this year, the pace, the pass aheads, the pass acrosses has just created some more corner three opportunities. It wasn't something where I think that we sat out and sort of sat down and, hey, how do we create more corner threes? The goal was just really how do we create some more uncontested or lightly contested shots, and also just put all of our guys in really good position. So I think that by them respecting space and moving and fixing spacing when teams are overshifting and finding windows, that has been helpful. And then just playing with the pass has also been beneficial.
You've played 4 games so far, Coach. What do you like, what you've seen from the team so far, and what do you think you guys still need to work on?
What I like so far is that we've been very committed to our pace, to our competitiveness, to our togetherness on both ends. I think that I've also seen a great response from the team when other teams have obviously gone on runs, or like last game we didn't play as well for long enough stretches. I look forward to our response today. I think that in the preseason we talked a ton about putting them in situations where they had to learn how to embrace adversity and what are the tools needed, because that's the season. That's how games go. Other teams are going to go on runs, and how do we respond better? And so I've loved that kind of like mindset that our team has adopted.
With Trey, his numbers are a little bit down in terms of production, what he's usually at. Just wondering, what are you seeing from him so far? And what about your confidence in him still having him out there, I guess, in crunch time last couple of games as well?
Yeah, I'm always going to remain confident on Trey and everyone in that locker room. I watch how hard they work, how much they care. My confidence will never waver with him or anybody else. I think that he's just trying to find his way. Again, you miss some games and still just trying to find that rhythm. But I've seen actually progress from game to game. I've seen him find his defensive impact, like trying to get into the ball a little bit more, trying to have a little bit more shift activity. Offensively, I think he's becoming a little bit more decisive. Saw him knock down 2 threes against Miami that I thought were just kind of catch and shoot and be ready and let it fly. And then also in pick and roll situations, just recognizing some unders and where to pass and when to pass. And, you miss some time and new style of play. It takes a little bit of time, but I have full confidence in Trey to be able to get back to tricky Trey.
Then this is home game number 2 for you guys. Have you talked about, I guess, with the team about protecting home court, how important home court is for you guys to be able to establish some kind of rhythm here, have a home court advantage, stuff like that? So when teams come in here, they kind of feel you guys a little bit more?
I hope so. That's the goal. But I hope that we're the same, whether we're home, whether we're away, we're competitive and we're together and we're ready to compete for however long the game lasts.
A year ago, Tijan Salon, when he'd catch a rebound and go down the court, a lot of the times he would go straight to the basket. This year, he's primarily looked for a pass when he gets the ball out in a rebound. Is that something you guys worked on this summer, or is that something that he's developed mentally?
I think Tijan's done a great job with his improved decision making. I think that we can all see his body is he's gotten stronger. I think on some of his drives, he's getting a little bit more dynamic and explosive. And so I've been just really happy whenever he's putting the ball down. He's thinking about how do I make the right reads versus shifts versus rim reads versus help. And so I think that's a credit to him and just recognizing how he can kind of help just continue to connect the team and help us get the best shot possible.
Magic aren't shooting great from 3 this year, but could you talk about what Bane in their lineup has done and just the added threats of having a shooter there and how that kind of changes your coaching style?
Yeah, Bane has obviously added a little bit more spacing for them. Banchero and Wagner are, 2 of their main creators. And so having him, obviously you got to be a little bit more aware. You're probably going to stay home a little bit more, which gives those guys more space to go do their thing. And then also they've been involving him in a lot of off-ball actions too, and getting himself downhill and early transition threes. And so he adds another scoring punch to this group that already has 2 really good creators.
Coach, we obviously know Con can play offense. We've seen that, and obviously we saw it at Duke. Defensively, though, I know that was a main priority for him. Where and in what areas have you seen improvement on the defensive side for Con?
I think that his understanding of personnel and tendencies has already been pretty impressive for a first-year player. I think he takes the time to study and watch film, and he and his position or primary skills coach do a really good job of, I think, working on techniques as well, slide steps and how to steer in reds. And he's a quick learner. He's got a really high basketball IQ, really good feel, and then his overall just competitive nature makes him want to embrace whatever challenge comes his way defensively.